So let's start session. But generally, what is accounting? Why we need accounting? See, for example, normally what happened now? If you just see any small keeper, they are not maintaining any accounts, right? So whatever, what are the coming? So they entered. What are going? Just entered. That's it. So they're not maintaining a proper form. Okay. If you want to maintain the proper form, means you must have to appoint an accountant, or you must know accounts. That's it. So why we have to prepare accounts? So then only you come to know exactly what is the profit we are having in a business, or what is the loss we are having. So business has to continue forever. But every year we have to close our accounts in order to find what is our profit, what is our loss, where we are standing at the end of the day, what are the improvisation we have to do. So for that purpose only we need to prepare accounts. So accounts basically it is a double entry system of accounting. Lucas Pacioli is the person who just created the account. Okay, so it's called double entry, which means for every debit there must be equal credit. I tell you later on what is debit and credit. So it's a purely business transactions to be entered. So business transaction to be entered in a accounting language. It is called journal, book of prime entry. Then after journal we have to prepare ledger. Then after ledger we have to post it to separate books are available, purchase book, purchase return book, sales return book, bills receivable, bills payable book, lot of books are available, we can post it. And after that we have to create trial balance. Even if there is any error arises, we have to rectify the error. Similarly, normally every business holdings they have to maintain the bank account. So that bank account and the cash book in the office will not tally. The reasons I tell you later. It's called bank reconciliation statement. Similarly, after that we have to post it to trial balance. So trial balance is to check the arithmetical accuracy of the accounts. So after trial balance we have to prepare the final accounts. Final accounts means so trading account to exactly identify what is your gross profit or gross loss. Then you have to prepare profit and loss account to identify your net profit, net loss. And finally you have to prepare your balance sheet. So financial position of the company or a business or a proprietor or a firm to prepare a balance sheet. To prepare a balance sheet, so balance sheet is nothing but to find the financial position of the company at the year end. On a particular date, you have to prepare a balance sheet. Either maybe 31st December or 31st March. It depends upon the case to case basis. It will differ. Okay. So normally 31st March will be the financial year. Income tax point of view, the financial year or previous year is supposed to be 31st March. So 31st March, what is your balance sheet position? What is your assets? What is your liability? Okay, right. So it's the balance sheet idea. Okay. So this is the basic idea of accounting system. We'll elaborately we're going to see, and briefly although I'm going to explain everything. Okay. So first, business transaction has to happen. Accounting process has to be initiated, right? Then that particular communicating accounting information to the decision makers. Who are the decision makers in the business? Normally there are two parties. One is called internal users, owners. Another one is called external users, the creditors. Okay. So external means creditors, bankers, a government. And finally, there is economic event should arises. So economic event should arises, then the accounting process then started communicating information, then useful for decision makers, and the economic event will complete. That's it. So what is economic activity? The activity is called economic activity is nothing but so someone has to pay, someone has to receive the consideration. That's it. So economic activity. So without economic activity, accounting transaction will not be happen. So economic activity should be there, then only the accounting transaction to be created. That's what they used to call economic events. Someone has to be benefited, someone has to receive the benefit, someone has to give the benefit. So the economic event has to arise. That's it. So normally I told you, so normally we have to prepare, a businessman wants to know how much profit is going to earn, how much loss is going to earn, what is his profit, what is his loss, what about his assets condition, what about liability condition, and he has to prepare separate sets of books, ledger books, income statements, okay, so profit and loss of the business, and finally he has to prepare the financial position of the business called balance sheet. So balance sheet really truly reflects what is your assets, what is your liability, right? But generally what do you mean by accounting? Accounting is nothing but technical definition of accounting. It is identifying, measuring, recording, communicating the information, relating to the economic events of the organization to the interested parties, those are going to use information. So you have to identify, you have to measure, record and communicate. So it is more or less quantitative information, which means in terms of numbers. So purely primarily financial nature about your economic activities. So that you can able to take economic decisions whether the business is viable or not. If you want to take some economic decisions, you must have economic entity, you must have economic activity. So it should be for this you need accounting. That's it. So many people have a different definitions of accounting. So American Association says accounting is a process of identifying, measuring and communicating economic information to the users of information. That's what accounting association definition, American Accounting Association definition. Similarly, ACPA, American Institute of Certified Public Accountant USA says accounting is a service activity provides a quantitative information, primarily financial nature, about the economic activities. So by the way, you're going to take economic decisions from this. So I put in a pictorial form, identifying the transactions, recording the transaction, classifying the transaction, summarizing the transaction, and finally analyze and interpret the communication to the different users, internal as well as external. You have to communicate to the what is your profit, what is your loss, and the balance sheet also we can transfer. What are the objectives of accounting? The main objective is to keep systematic recording of business transaction. Which means what is systematic? There is a procedure, no, scientific procedure of recording transaction. First, whenever the transactions have been happened, it should be recorded in the journal. Then it should be posted to ledger. From there, you have to correct if there is any errors are available. You can prevent and detect. Accounting really gives an idea. If there is any error available, if there is any fraud arises, we can able to prevent and detect. So accounting primary important role is to find the profit and loss of the business for a particular period. That is by preparing trading and the profit and loss account, you are able to identify what is your profit, what is your loss. And finally, it is able to ascertain the profit financial position of the business. Number 5, accounting provides useful information to users, which means internal users, owners, external users, creditors, bankers and government. Now let's see bookkeeping. What is bookkeeping? So recording a business transaction in a systematic manner is called bookkeeping. Right? It is primarily made as a books of accounts. The books of accounts, all the financial transactions to be identified, to be measured. You have to say everything in terms of money, correct? No. So you're buying goods for the trading business, measuring in terms of rupees. You're selling goods in trading business, you're measuring in terms of money. So it's called money. Everything to be recorded in terms of money. So recording the transaction and classifying it into ledger is called bookkeeping. So according to Favell, AJ, bookkeeping is the art of recording financial transaction of a business in a methodical manner so that information can be quickly obtained. Once it has been properly recorded in a scientific basis, so that information can be quickly obtained by other users. This is what Favell says. What is the difference between bookkeeping and accounting? Bookkeeping is maintained by any junior staff. It is a primary stage. It is a day-to-day transaction. Anybody can do. But accounting is somewhat higher than bookkeeping. Must be familiar with the accounting transaction. It should be maintained by the senior staff at secondary stage. After bookkeeper, the accounting work starts. Accountant is a bookkeeper, but all bookkeepers are not accountant. Okay, accounting is a secondary stage. Accounting is based purely on bookkeeping. Once the bookkeeping is over, then accounting job starts. Who are the two types of users in financial statements? One is called internal users, owners, shareholders, or investor, or employees, or management. So day-to-day running of the affairs, no, there. Who are called external users? Regulatory agencies, labor union, stock exchange, public and others, government, everybody. Regulatory means government people. That's it. Even creditors also external users. Okay. So what are the branches of accounting? Number 1, financial accounting. That is our area of concern. So preparation of bookkeeping, preparation of finance statements and bookkeeping maintenance. Number 2, cost accounting division is there. That's a huge level. Okay. You have to find out the unit cost. Say for example, I am having a mouse. What are the cost of the mouse? What are different levels of protection available? In cost accounting, if you think now, there are 3 components. One is material, labor and overheads. So these are the material units of the product flow. Next, in case of management accounting, it is a blend of financial and cost accounting. So management accounting is only for the internal users. The management requires. So what is our portion? It's a blend of financial and cost accounting to get the maximum profit to minimize the loss. And finally, tax accounting. It is purely for how the tax to be entered. So see, financial accounting is different, tax accounting is different. So that's why profit in the financial accounting will differ, profit in tax accounting will be different. So while you're preparing taxation, lot of concession will be given, lot of exemptions will be given, lot of deduction should be there. So based on that, what happened now? The profit sometimes higher or the profit sometimes lower. Therefore, profit under taxation is different, profit in the financial is different. That's why we have deferred tax assets are created, deferred tax liabilities are created. Similarly, 5th one, social responsibility accounting. It is purely for the beneficial of social benefits only. This kind of accounting is prepared. Okay. So normally it is only for the social responsibility accounting. So normally all companies are not preparing. Whenever there is required, how we are social responsible, whether you are going to dilute the ecological balances, environmental pollution has been affected. So because based on this accounting, what happened now, the green credits will be given. If you are going to save, you are not supposed to pollute the economic environment, automatically green credit can be given. So green credit can be converted into tax credit. So tax credit means you are going to pay lesser taxes. The more you have green credit, the more you have tax credit, the lesser you have to pay taxes. Okay, that system is going to be implemented sooner. Let's see qualitative characteristics of accounting. Number 1, reliability. Accounting information should be reliable nature. It should be verifiable based on the facts. Number 2, relevance. Relevance information should be disclosed. Information which is irrelevant which is useless will not be a part of financial statement. We are going to omit those statements. Only which is relevant for the decision making process, those information only to be taken, those who are irrelevant, those who are useless for the financial information to be omitted. So next, understandability. Account information just generally really gives a way for the users understand. Okay, we know exactly, we can able to understand. So information, no, it's a quantitative information, no, we can able to understand easily. Similarly, once we have accounting information, we can able to compare the figures with the current year with the previous year. What is your previous year profit? We have numbers. What is your current year profit? We have numbers. So that we can able to compare the performance of the current year with the previous year or previous year, we can able to compare. For this information, we need scientific design of accounting. System of recording. Single entry system and double entry system. What is single entry system? In this system, only cash and personal accounts are maintained. It is not proper way of system. So income tax people, they are not accepting the system. It is called single entry system. In case of double entry system, it should be recorded two places. For every debit, there is the equal and corresponding credit. Okay. So double entry system scientifically designed. That's what we're going to see later subjects. Scientifically designed. Income tax people, they are accepting the system. It is called double entry system. Let's see what are the advantages of double entry system bookkeeping. Number one, it helps to keep complete and systematic recording of all the business transactions. Here, you can able to check the arithmetic accuracy of the books by preparing the trial balance. Suppose, for example, we can overcast the books or sometimes undercast the books. For example, purchase book overcasted. Purchase book debit side total will be higher. So credit side will be maybe lower. It is called overcasting, or it may be undercasting. So overcasting and undercasting happen now, automatically trial balance will not be tallied. We come to know exactly where we are committing mistakes. We have a chance to go and rectify the defects. Number 3. So double entry system is a result of business activity. So this is purely business activity. So preparing a trading and P&L account, we are able to identify what is your profit, what is your loss. We can able to identify. And finally, the financial position of the company or a business or a proprietor or firm, we can able to prepare. It's called balance sheet. Balance sheet means you are preparing your assets, preparation of your liability. What is assets? What the company owes, what the business owes is called assets. What the business owing to others is called liability. That's it. What are the disadvantages of double entry system? The system fails to ascertain the actual profit. Okay, right. Even though there are some errors available, there is a trial balance preparation. Trial balance sometimes accommodate error also. So based on the error, trial balance will be tallied. See, for example, an entry has been posted in a wrong account. So I received the goods from the A, but I posted in B. But even though it will tally. Okay. But there is an error available, no. So my supplier is A, but I posted here B. So in this case, trial balance will tally, but even though there is a disadvantage, you cannot able to identify. Similarly, mistake committed in the journalizing or omission of transaction cannot be disclosed under the system. I told you now, I purchased from A, I posted B, you cannot able to identify. See here, there is a positive fraud also available. Misappropriation also available in the system. See, everywhere there is a plus and minus available. Here also, there are chances of fraud. Once we know thoroughly accounts, you can able to cheat others also. Right now, so fraud also happen, misappropriation also happening in the system. Let's see accounting cycle. Now, what is accounting cycle? It commences with the recording of financial transaction, ending with communication financial information to the users. Step one, primary entry, transaction has to happen. It has to be posted in the journal, and it ending with communication information to users, different users, internal users and external users. We have to communicating the financial information. Okay, it start with recording of financial transaction. It ending with providing information to the internal users and external users. It is called accounting cycle. Is accounting a science or art? Accounting is a recording of financial transaction in a set of books in a desired category, summarizing information in a proper manner for concerned person for their benefit. So accounting is a science because there are certain rules are available, certain principles are available, certain concepts are available, conventions are available, standards are available in a well defined manner. Therefore, accounting is a science as well as accounting is an art, because we are going to record it now, everything. Summarizing, categorizing is an art. So why it is called science? It's set of rules available, principle, concepts, conventions, standards. So therefore, accounting is a science as well as art. According to Accounting Principles Board, accounting is a service activity. True. Accountant is doing service. Its function is to provide qualitative information, financial nature about economic activities for making economic decisions. That's true. We are providing a qualitative information, purely financial nature about the economic activities of the transaction of the company for making economic decisions. Whether we are going in the right direction or wrong direction. Whether we have profit or loss. Making economic decisions. So according to ACPA, the main function of accounting is to provide qualitative information. True. Purely financial nature. True. above the economic entities intended to be used will make economic decision. Same definition ACP Institute says. What are the rules of recording transaction double entry system? Okay. So every bookkeeper must know this. So basically there are three tiers of accounts. Okay. So personal account, real account, nominal account. It's called golden rules we are going to see. So personal account, it is really related to persons. Number 2, real accounts. Number 3, nominal account. What is meant by personal account? Personal account. Accounts dealing with persons or institution. For example, myself, Padmanabhan, Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, personal account. Similarly, we can identify the bankers also, bank name. So, natural person, artificial person, representative person. There are three types of personal account. Natural person, just like me, human individuals. Artificial person, banks, colleges, schools, hospitals, artificial person. Representative personal. For example, for employee, we have outstanding salary. For example, rent for the business, prepaid, advancedly we paid, prepaid rent. Interest is yet to be received, already is accrued, it is yet to be received, it is called accrued income. Similarly, income received in advance, work is yet to be delivered, but income is already received in advance. So these kind of accounts is called representative personal account. For example, outstanding salary of the employee yet to be paid, representative personal account. Prepaid rent to the owner, representative personal account. Similarly, accrued income, accrued interest yet to be received from the banker, supposed to be representative personal account. Commission is in advance, representative personal account. So there are three types of personal account. One, natural person. Number 2, artificial person. Number 3, representative person. Let's see real accounts. What is real accounts? So it deals with various assets and property. Okay. So it deals about the tangible goods as well as intangible goods. For example, cash comes in, real account. Cash goes out, real account. Goods comes in, real account. Goods goes out, real account. Bills comes in, bills goes out. Similarly, goodwill purchased, goodwill sold. Copyright purchased, copyright sold. Patent purchased, patent sold. Trademark purchased, trademark sold. So intangible purchase and intangible sold, also real account. What is intangible? They have a value, but you cannot touch it. What is tangible? They have a value, we can touch it. Okay, fine. Goodwill, it's our name. Name goodwill, for example, Britannia goodwill can be purchased and sold. Copyright, as an author, he wrote something, there's a copyright. The copyright can be sold or copyright can be purchased. Similarly, patent, the know-how, the formula, manufacturing process formula, patent. The trademark, this is my trademark. The trademark also can be purchased, trademark also can be sold at a price. So normally, in 2015, I think, or 2015 or 2005, when they value the Coca-Cola company, okay, so they have 80% valuation comes from intangibles. That means Coca-Cola's image, goodwill, trademark, those areas, intangibles, goodwill. 20% only comes from the tangibles. Coca-Cola's machinery, Coca-Cola's plant. So 80% intangible valuation, 20% tangible valuation. So that's why majority companies, intangibles are more valuable than tangible. Let's see nominal account. Now what is nominal account? This account deals with various expenses and various losses and various incomes and various gains. Example, salary paid is an expense. Commission, expense. Commission paid is expense, commission received is income. Rent paid is income expenses, rent received is income. Similarly, wages paid, expense. Bad debts created. Normally we sold goods on credit to the debtors. A portion of the debtors is recovered nature, that is called bad debts. So these are called nominal accounts. These are the three golden rules. Okay. So personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all losses and expenses, credit all incomes and gains. These are the basics, golden rules of accounting. Entire accounting is based on these three principles only. So principle by the personal account, debit the receiver, credit the giver. Real account, debit what comes in, credit what goes out. Nominal account, debit all the losses and expenses, credit all incomes and gains. It's called nominal account. So golden rules, we are going to see debit the receiver, credit the giver. So it is called personal account. Debit the receiver. A person receiving the benefit should be debited. A person giving the benefit should be credited. For example, an amount of 1,000 is paid to Vinod. In this case, what happened? Who is the receiver? Vinod is the receiver. Who is the receiver? Vinod is the receiver. Okay. So here, Vinod is a receiver. Okay. What goes out? Cash goes out. So cash is the real account. So debit the receiver. The rule is debit the receiver. Debit the receiver. Cash real account. Cash real account. Credit what goes out. Credit what goes out. Credit what goes out. Right. So personal account you have to memorize. Real account you have to memorize. And nominal account you have to memorize. What the personal account says? Debit the receiver. Credit the giver. So what is the real account says? Debit what comes in. Credit what goes out. Whenever things going out should be credited. Whenever things comes in, debited. What the nominal account says? Debit all losses and expenses, credit all incomes and gain. See, for example, in the first example, 1000 paid to Vinod account. Who is the receiver? Vinod is the receiver. What goes out? Cash goes out. Okay, so Vinod should be debited, cash to be credited. Why Vinod is debited? Vinod is the receiver, debited. Why cash is credited? Cash going out, real account. So credit the giver, credit what goes out, credit what goes out. So Vinod to be debited, cash to be credited by the amount 1000, in example 1. In example 2, machinery worth 1 lakh purchased for cash. Here machinery comes in, what is the value? 1 lakh. What goes out? Cash. What goes out? Cash. Value 1 lakh. So machine comes in 1 lakh, cash going out to 1 lakh. What is the entry you have to do? Machine to be debited, debit what comes in by the amount 1 lakh. What is to be credited? Cash to be credited because cash going out 1 lakh. So machine to be debited 1 lakh, cash to be credited 1 lakh. Reason, debit what comes in, machinery, credit what goes out, cash. Number 3, salary is paid to employees. So here salary is an expense for the company or a business point of view. Okay, right. So there are n number of, so for example 10 employees are available. So 10 employees we are paying salary. What is the entry to be passed? If salary is paid by cash, so salary account debtor to cash account. Why salary is debited? Because it is expense for the company. So debit all losses and expense, no. So salary to be debited. What goes out? Cash goes out, real account. Suppose if you are paying by check, bank to be credited, bank to be credited. Okay. So what goes out? Cash. If it is paying by check, bank is the giver, So entry, salary to be debited because it's a loss, debit all losses and expenses, cash going out, so cash to be credited. Even if it is paid by check, bank to be credited. So bank is the giver, Okay. So it is purely based on the principle nominal account. Salary is a nominal, so to be debited. Similarly, commission received. So cash comes in, commission received. Cash comes in, real account, debit what comes in. Commission received, income, credited. So cash comes in, debited, commission received, income, credited. Okay, fine. So salary to cash, first transaction, salary paid to employees. So salary is an expense, debited, cash going out. Second case, commission received. So cash received in the form of commission. So debit what comes in, so cash to be debited. Credit all incomes and gains, commission to be credited. That's it. Let's see what are the phase of accounting cycle. First one, recording of transaction. After recording the transaction, then book of first entry, that is journal to be prepared. We have to apply the double entry system in journal. Okay, the personal account, real account, nominal account to be applied, journal to be prepared. After journal, ledger to be prepared. After ledger, trial balance to be prepared. After trial, what is the purpose of a trial balance? To check the arithmetical accuracy of the ledger accounts. After trial balance, adjusting entries to be done. See, after closing a trial balance, after preparation of trial balance, some adjusting entries will come. So those adjusting entries to be adjusted. Then it's called adjusted trial balance. We have to prepare if possible. Then the entries to be closed. Then the finance statement to be prepared. So trading, profit account, balance sheet prepared. That's it. So recording a transaction, starting point, ending point, financial statement preparation. That's it. What are the basis of accounting? There are two bases of accounting. One is called accrual basis, another one is called cash basis. Now what is cash basis? Cash comes in to be entered. Cash goes out to be entered. That's it. So received, paid to be entered. It's called cash basis. In case of accrual basis, received, receivable to be entered. Paid, payable to be entered. Paid, payable also to be entered. We have to pay to this year, payable. We have received, entered. We have to receive, receivable to be entered for the current year. So current year received, receivable to be entered. Current year paid and payable to be entered. It's called accrual. For example, to understand accrual, 12 months a worker has been worked. We paid only 11 months salary. 1 month salary is pending. 12 months only we have to show. In the form of salary paid 11 months, salary outstanding 1 month we have to show. That's called accrual basis. But in case of cash basis, paid only to be entered. Payable should not be entered. Received only to be entered. Receivable should not be entered. These are the two systems of accounting basis. But cash basis of accounting is maintained by proprietor and partnership firms in India. So either proprietor or partnership firms, either they can be able to maintain cash basis or accrual basis. They have options. So proprietorship firms, proprietorships or partnership firms, they can maintain the accounts either cash basis or accrual basis. Income tax also permitted. In India, accrual basis of account, all the corporates, all the companies, all the incorporated companies to be registered, to be recorded only the accounts in the form of accrual basis only. Okay. So they are not supposed to apply. All corporates, they are not to prepare the accounts on cash basis. All the corporates are companies in India, so they have to maintain the accounts only on the accrual basis. But the option is given only to the proprietor, or to the partnership firm. Okay, either they can able to maintain the basis, the cash basis or accrual basis. That's it. Now let's see. What is accrual basis of accounting? Accrual basis of accounting is a method of recording of transaction, but the revenue, cost, assets and liability reflected in the accounts. If they occur, whenever they are accrued, it is to be entered. Okay, revenue to be accrued, cost to be accrued, asset to be accrued, liability to be accrued, is a purely in which they accrue. Right? Even though they are deferrals also, we can defer the payment, but we have assets. We can defer the interest, but we have interest. We can defer the payment of salary, but we have to pay. So okay, so those deferrals also to be considered. Deferrals, allocations, depreciation, amortized, everything comes under accrual. Now, generally it is called mercantile system of accounting. Accrual basis of accounting, one more name, mercantile basis of accounting. In case of cash basis, only cash paid to be entered, only cash received to be entered, actual cash received to be entered, actual cash payment to be entered, even though related to revenue or cost to payments or asset creation or liability received or paid, whatever may be. Okay, so purely cash basis. Only if it is paid to be entered, only to be received to be entered. That's it. Now let's see. What do you mean by transaction? It is an event or business activity which involves exchange of money or money's worth between the parties. Okay, it is called transaction. For example, I am a trader. I purchased the goods from you. It is a transaction. What is the transaction? I received the material, I paid the cash, or I will tell you, sir, I will pay later on. Either it is purely on cash purchase or credit purchase. Similarly, I sold goods to you. I am a trader. I sold goods to you. Either it is purely on cash sales or credit sales. So here it is a transaction. There is an economic activity should be done. Therefore, it is a transaction. So if it is an economic activity, if there is a monetary amount is involved, then it is a transaction. If it is not economic activity, there is no money involved, it is not a transaction, should not be entered. Even though you can make a payment by deferral basis also, you can make the payment immediately or you can defer the payment, it is a transaction. But there must be economic activity should be done. That's it. The next one, goods and services. Now what is goods and services? So generally they are tangible article in the business deals with that. Either it can be purchased or it can be sold. For example, we can buy goods, we can sold goods. We can purchase services, we can sell services. Not only services, no, you have to say rendering the services. So rendering the services, okay. So goods can be bought, goods can be sold. Services can be rendered or service can be received. Okay, right. Why is the service to be rendered? To earn profit. So economic activity is created to earn profit. Okay, right. So goods are always tangible, services are always intangibles. Services you cannot touch, but there is economic activity should be there, you can receive some money. So goods can be sold and purchased, it's a tangible. Services can be rendered or received, therefore intangibles. What purpose we are doing goods and services? Is to earn profit, Now what do you mean by profit? Excess of revenue income over expense called profit. Suppose your income is higher, your expense is lower, you are earning profit. Suppose your income is 100, revenue income is 100, your expense is 60, the difference 40 is profit. What is loss? Your expense is higher, your income is lower. Your expense is 100, your income is 60, you have a loss. So excess of income over expense is called profit, excess of expense over income is called loss. So excess of expense over income is called loss. What is asset? Asset is a resource owned by the business with the purpose of using it for generating future profit. Okay. So what is asset? In order to generate long-term income, we have to procure assets. So it's a capital expenditure. By procuring assets, okay, we are going to generate long-term revenue. Assets can be in the form of tangible or intangible. Suppose we purchased a machinery to earn income. By having a machinery, we are going to produce goods. Goods can be sold in the market. So long-term revenue you can able to generate. Therefore, asset purchase is tangible assets. So plant and machinery, furniture, fittings, land and buildings, books, computer, vehicles, they are all tangibles. Okay. Tangible means there is a physical existence available, you can able to touch it. So why it's called asset? It is going to generate revenue forever. So future economic benefit going to be generated by purchasing asset, Similarly, what is intangible assets? We are acquiring the rights. What is intangibles? Goodwill, trademark, patent, technical know-how, copyright, license, franchise, route map, the particular route I obtained so that I can able to do my services in the particular route map, idea, skill, knowledge, franchise. These are all intangibles. Designs, brand equity, okay, intellectual property. These are all intangibles. So they cannot be touched. Even though we can purchase intangibles, we can sold intangibles. They have a value. So for example, in a company valuation, if you're going for intangible valuation is supposed to be 70%, tangible valuation is going to be 30%. If you're going to purchase a particular company, you have to spend 70% for intangible purchase, 30% for tangible purchase. So for intangible valuation also, intangible also very important for valuation point of view, right? Your brand depends upon your intangibles. Let's see. So assets can be classified into two categories. One is called current assets, another one is called non-current assets. What is current asset? Asset shall be classified as a current asset. It has to satisfy one of the conditions. Number one. So what is current asset? It is expected to be realized in or intended for sale or intended for consumption the company's normal operating cycle. So generally for a period of 12 months. For a period of 12 months, what I am going to receive or receivable in 12 months is called current asset. For example, I am having cash and cash equivalent. I am having receivables. I have a debtors. I have a stock. At least for a period of within 12 months, I am going to realize it. It's called current asset. So current asset means within a period of 12 months, you have to realize. It is in the form of cash or cash in hand or bank or short-term market securities. You can invest in the business of the outside. Within 6 months, you can able to make a sale. You can realize cash or stock you are having or debtors you are having or receivables or prepaid expenses or accrued incomes, TDS credits. Okay, these are all current assets. What is non-current assets? Other than current assets, called non-current assets. Example, within 12 months you are going to maintain a current asset. More than 12 months we are going to create assets, non-current asset. Example, plant and machinery for long-term benefit, land and buildings for long-term benefit. So a computer purchase for long-term benefit, investment invested in outside the business, long-term benefit. So long-term benefit, more than 12 months you are going to receive the benefit. Now you are investing in non-current asset. Within 12 months you are going to realize the benefits. Now you have to invest in current asset. That's it. Let's see what is liability. It is an obligation of financial nature to be settled at a future date. It is an obligation of financial nature to be settled future date is called liability, which means what the business owing to outsiders. Okay, it's called liability. Say for example, a company borrowed loan, they have to repay. It's a liability. So borrowed for a short period, borrowed for a longer period, it is a liability. What the business owing to others is called liability. What the business owing is called asset. What the business owing to others is called liability. Okay, so we have to make a payment to the supplier, liability. We have to repay the loan to the banker, liability. Principal plus interest. So what the business owing to other people is called liability. So liability can be divided into two categories. One is called current liability, another is called non-current liability. What is current liability? Within a short span of time, within 12 months, within the operating cycle of your company, you have to repay the debt. It's called current liability. So creditors, current liability. Within 12 months, you have to settle them. Bank overdraft, within 12 months, you have to settle them. Short-term credit, within 12 months, you have to settle them. So within 12 months, outstanding expenses, within 12 months, you have to settle them. Income received in advance, current liability. Within 12 months, you have to settle those things. It's called current liability. So after 12 months, you can settle them. It's called non-current. So loan we have borrowed, after 5 years, we can pay. Debentures we have issued to rising loan. After 5 years, you have to redeem the debentures. But loan is called repayment, debenture is called redeemed. Redemption means repayment only. Technically, it is called redemption, but common layman language, it's called repayment. That's it. So loans repayment after 5 years. Debentures redeemed after 5 years, non-current liability. So more than 1 year, you are going to repay. More than 1 year, you are going to repay, non-current. More than 1 year. So within 1 year, you have to repay, current liability. That's it. Let's see. Internal liability. Internal liability is called owner's equity, proprietor's equity, owner's equity. So whatever the amount the business owing to owners is called internal liability. Example, capital, business owing to owners, internal liability. Reserves owing to owners, internal liability. Undisturbed profit owing to owners, so internal liability. So internal liability means owner's equity or owner's funds, proprietor fund or shareholders funds or net worth, it is called internal liability. Okay, owner fund, internal liability or proprietor fund or shareholder funds or net worth, all are same. So what are the business owing to the owners, internal people, in the form of capital or in the form of reserves or in the form of any undisturbed profit? It's called internal liability. Let's see working capital. Now what is working capital? What is working capital? See, working capital in a broader perspective, so there are two types of working capital available. One is called gross working capital. It is nothing but total current assets. I told you what is current assets. So your stock, your cash in hand, your cash in bank, so prepaid expenses, accrued income, stock, debtors, bills receivable are total current assets. So gross working capital means what is your total current asset? What is the investment in the total current asset called gross working capital? What is your net working capital? Net working capital. Net working capital is nothing but current asset minus current liability. Current asset minus current liability is called net working capital. What is the investment in the current asset? What is your current liability? The difference is called net working capital. So net working capital is nothing but difference between the current asset and the current liability. For layman language, investment in the current asset minus current liability is equal to you have some cash left over. That cash you can use it for day-to-day operation. So in a broader perspective, net working capital is nothing but, so after current asset and current liabilities are adjusted, current asset receivable for 12 months, current liability payable for 12 months. If you adjust it, if there is any balance left over, that balance you can use it for everyday operation. It is called net working capital. That's it. Let's see. What is contingent liability? It is a potential obligation that could be created depending upon the outcome of an event. So which means, for example, a supplier of my business, he filed a suit against me. He filed a case against me. Now the case is in the court of law. Suppose if the supplier win the case, I will liable to the supplier. Suppose supplier not winning the case, I am not liable. It all depends upon the outcome of the event. Whether supplier winning the case or not winning the case. If the winning the case, the verdict is in favor of the supplier, we are liable to pay to the supplier. If he is not winning the case, I am not liable to pay. It all depends upon the outcome of the court verdict. Therefore, the contingent liability is created. If you win the case, I have to pay 1 lakh. If he is not winning the case, I am not supposed to pay 1 lakh claim. So it is a contingent liability. So contingent liability is not to be placed in the balance sheet. It is always outside the balance sheet. In the form of notes. Note 1, note 2 you can put it. What note you can put it? So there is a claim against the company. There is a claim against the company for because of the court case of the supplier for 1 lakh. You can simply prepare a note outside the balance sheet. This is outside the balance sheet. Not balance sheet item. So contingent liability is not a balance sheet item. Okay, it is outside the balance sheet. You can simply put a note. If you win the case, you need not pay. Suppose you are losing the case, supplier winning the case, the company losing the case, they are liable. Therefore, it is called contingent liability. Let's see capital. What is capital? It is the amount invested by its owners. Okay, either the owner can invest into the business in the form of cash or goods or asset. He can invest. I am bringing in cash to capital. I am bringing in asset to capital. I am bringing in stock to capital. Okay, stock to capital. So this is called, so capital may be coming into the business in the form of cash or goods or assets. So this is called purely internal liability. In case of corporates or companies, it is called share capital. In case of proprietor, it is purely capital. That's it. What is drawings? Next definition, drawings. What is drawings? So whenever the business owner withdrew from the business cash, it is called drawing. Withdrew from the business goods for the personal usage, drawing. Any assets withdrew for personal usage, it is called drawings. For example, LIC premium of the proprietor paid by the business. Okay, it is called drawings. Proprietor withdrew the money from the business for personal usage and he buy the scooter, drawings. Proprietor withdrew from the business cash and buy necklace for his daughter, drawings. Okay, whenever any personal withdrawings are available, either in the form of cash or in the form of goods or in the form of assets, it is called drawings. Suppose you withdrew cash for personal usage, drawings to cash, drawings to be debited, debit the receiver, cash going out, cash to be credited. You withdrew goods from the business for personal usage. So drawings to purchase, drawings to be debited, debit the receiver, purchase to be cancelled, to purchase. Similarly, asset withdrew from the business for personal usage, drawings to asset, drawings to plant and machinery. That's it. So drawings means reduction of owner's capital. Capital means addition. Additional capital means we can add on the capital. Drawings means reduction of owner's capital. That's it. So drawings is not permitted for companies. Drawings is permitted only in partnership firms and sole proprietor. Drawings is not permitted in companies. Let's see. Net worth. Net worth is nothing but so total asset minus total liability. Total asset minus total liability. So this is the balance sheet. Okay. So liability. So assets. Here shareholders funds will be there. Here non-current liability. Here current liability. Here fixed asset. Here current asset. Here current asset. Here current assets. Okay. Fine. So here this is shareholder funds is there. Right. So shareholder funds plus non-current liability plus current liability is equal to fixed asset plus current asset. Fixed asset longer benefit, longer term investment in the long term assets, fixed asset. Investment in the short term assets, current assets. So shareholder funds is equivalent to fixed asset plus current asset minus non-current liability minus current liability. So excess of total assets minus total liability minus total liability minus total liability. Total liability, so it is called shareholder funds, or we used to call net worth. Net worth. So shareholder funds, net worth, owners fund, proprietor fund, internal liability, internal fund, all are same. All are same. Let's see non-current investments. Now, what is non-current investments? Investments which are held beyond the current period. Beyond the current period. Okay. Okay. It's called non-current investment. For example, fixed deposit we deposited. Non-current investments. We are going to take back the money after 5 years. After 5 years with interest. So the example fixed deposit or long-term investment, the company shares, other company shares, the company is invested. Non-current investment. So invested the money outside your company. We are not supposed to sell the assets for a period of 3 years or 5 years. So longer period we are going to invest it. We are not going to sell it for 5 years or 3 years or 1 year. Okay. Longer period we are going to stay. Those investments called non-current investment. Shorter period you are going to stay current investment. That's it. Example fixed deposit for 5 years or 7 years or 3 years or 4 years, or invested shares in the other company shares we have invested. So non-current investments. Okay, fine. What is current investments? Investments matured within the operating cycle of the company. This is a current investment. For example, I invested in commercial paper issued by the government. Okay, CP. I invested. So within 11 months, I can realize the money. I invested, maturity within 11 months. January month I invested, November month I release the money. So current investment, shorter period of time you are going to invest means current investment. Let's see debtor. Now what do you mean debtor? So there are two types of sales normally. One is called credit sale, another one is called cash sale. Whenever goods are sold for cash sales. Whenever goods are sold for credit sales. Whenever credit sales are happening, debtors are created. So debtors are generally called sundry debtors or group of debtors or trade debtors or book dates or debtors normally. So debtors are created through credit sales only. Whenever we are selling goods to credit or whenever we are rendering services on credit, the people are called debtors. So credit sale of goods or credit rendering of services, the people are called, customers are called debtors. Debtors can be further classified into three categories. Good debts. 100% I can recover the money from the debtors. Doubtful debts. 10% I have a doubt whether I am going to recover or not. Bad debts, definitely the 5% I won't recover. Bad debts. So debtors can be classified into good debtors, doubtful debtors and bad debts. Okay, right. Normally, in order to recover the money, so bad debts to be written off. Sometimes we can offer discount allowed to the debtors also. Why the discount allowed is been given to the debtors? To recover the money immediately. To make the prompt payment from the customer point of view, we are offering some cash discount. It's called discount allowed. Sometimes when the goods are not up to the sample they have been, so I just given a sample to the sample has been given by the debtor and sold goods to the debtor on credit. So what are the goods I sent? It is not up to the mark of the sample given by the debtor. So automatically debtor return the goods to us. It's called return inward, sales return. Okay. So normally in the sales transaction, so bad debts can happen. Discount allowed we have to give in order to get the payment immediately from the debtors. Similarly, sales return will be happen because goods are not up to the mark. It is written by our customers. So these are the general terms available in debtor. Let's see creditor. What do you mean creditor? Creditor is a person to whom the business owes money or money is worth. See, for example, I purchased goods on credit. My supplier is creditor. I just received the services on credit. A person rendering service is my creditor. So either supplier of goods to us or either provider of services to us, those people are called creditor. So normally creditors comes under current liability, debtors comes under current assets. Debtor comes under current assets, creditor comes under current liability. Within a short period of time, 12 months, we had repaid them, no? Creditor. Within a short period of time, we had to receive the money from debtor. So debtors are called current assets, creditors are called current liability. CapEx, capital expenditure. Now, what do you mean by capital expenditure? Investment in the fixed asset in order for a longer period of time to generate revenue for the longer period of time. So those expenses are capital expenditure. Simply asset created, asset created. Once the asset created, so the production capacity of the machine can be increased, enhanced. It is called capex. Capex forms form of balance sheet. Capital expenditure is a form of balance sheet. Capex means asset created, asset created. So in economic point of view, capital expenditure means asset created or liability reduces. Asset increases or liability reduces, capex. Economic point of view, economic point of view. In accounting point of view, capex means asset created, asset created. Once asset created, capex created, capital expenditure created. That's it. Let's see revenue expenditure. A revenue expenditure means expenditure to be incurred to earn revenue for the current period. For example, machine has been repaired, recurring nature. Insurance we have to pay for current year. Salary we have to pay current year. Okay, travel expenses current year. So these are the expenses we have to incur to earn profit only for current year. So expenses to be incurred to earn revenue for the current year is called revenue expenditure. Example, salary paid. So once we pay the salary, the workers can work so that we can able to produce goods. We can able to produce goods. We can able to sell the goods in the market for a shorter period. So expenses to be incurred to earn revenue for the current period is called revenue expenditure. It's called OPEX, operating expenditure or revenue expenditure. That's it. This revenue expenditure is part of income statement. It is to be debited in the P&L account. It is income statement, expenses. Let's see balance sheet. It is a statement of financial position of the business entity on a particular date. It shows all your assets. It shows all your liability. It shows the capital account with the proprietor. Okay. So there are two balance sheet means it's a T form of balance sheet. Okay. So balance sheet, normal notation B bar is. So liability and asset. What the proprietor invested in the business? It's called capital plus liability. Other liabilities are there. Other liability. And here we have fixed assets and current assets. So balance sheet will tally. Balance sheet means preparation of financial position on a particular date, 1 mark. Preparation of financial position on a particular date is called balance sheet. So what the business owing? Assets. What the business owing to outside is liability. What the business owing to inside is capital. It is prepared after preparation of income statement. So because capital loaded, we have to add profit. If there is a loss happen, loss to be subtracted. After preparation of final financial statements, financial income statement, so profit or loss from the income statement to be transferred here. If there is a profit, it is added to the capital. If there is a loss, to be adjusted from the capital. That's it. So what is your income statement P&L account? It shows what is your income, what is your loss, or what is your expenses. So it is to be prepared daily basis, monthly, quarterly, half-yearly, yearly to be prepared. Okay, right. So what are the business as expense incurred? What are business earned revenue? So its income statement is reflection of expenses and your revenue item. That's it. At the end of the day, at the end of the period, what a profit you have earned, what a loss you have suffered, it can able to show. Then it result is called profit, either profit or loss. So excess of income over expenses, profit. Excess of expense over income, loss. We can able to identify by preparation of income statement or profit and loss account. That's it. Trade discount. Now what do you mean by trade discount? So trade discount means discount usually allowed by the wholesaler. Discount usually allowed by the wholesaler to the retailer, at the list price or invoice price. So for example, I purchased goods from a supplier. For supplier price, for example, price 1 lakh goods I purchased. 1 lakh goods I purchased. Out of 1 lakh, my supplier is offering trade discount. 10% is offering trade discount. Now 1 lakh 10% how much? Comes around 10,000. So 1 lakh 10% trade discount is offered 10,000. So balance 90,000. Hereafter my purchase is called 90,000 only. Why? Trade discount means I am purchasing in a bulk in order to have a relationship with me. So my supplier is offering a trade discount. At what rate? 10%. This trade discount 10%, 10,000 will not be shown in the invoice. So hereafter my purchase price is 90,000 only, not 1 lakh. So number 1 point, trade discount is offered by the supplier on a bulk purchase to maintain the relationship. Number 2, trade discount will not be shown in the invoice. After trade discount adjustment, What the price comes in, it is called purchase price always. Hereafter the purchase price is supposed to be 90,000 only, 90,000 only. Okay, right. Similarly, one more example. I purchased a TV set, 15,000. For this, 3,000 trade discount is offered, 20% trade discount is offered by the supplier, 3,000. So 12,000 should be there. Hereafter, my purchase price is 12,000. Purchase price is 12,000. That's it. Okay. Now this is trade discount. So trade discount, number one point, bulk purchases to maintain the relationship. Trade discount will not be shown in the invoice. After trade discount, the price comes, no, it is called purchase price. Okay. What do you mean by CAD discount? CAD discount generally will be shown in the invoice. So here my purchase price is 12,000. My supplier offering me CAD discount. So CAD discount of 2% is offering. What is CAD discount? Sir, you have to pay 12,000 to me. If you are going to make a payment within 1 week, I am offering you 2% CAD discount. If you are going to make a payment within 1 week, sir, I will give a 2% CAD discount to you. Okay, it will be shown in the invoice. 12,000, 2% is 240. 12,000 by 240. So balance 11,760. I have to pay. So this trade discount is a loss for the business supplier, is an income for me. Because reason, I received a discount. He offered a discount. For him it is loss. For me it is income. So CAD discount means to make a prompt payment within a period of time. So in order to collect the payment within a period of time, CAD discount will be shown. CAD offered. It will be always shown in the invoice price. It will be always shown in the invoice price. So 2% CAD discount offered. Finally, I have to make a payment to the supplier. How much, ma? 11,760. That's it. So trade discount will not be shown in the invoice. CAD discount will be shown in the invoice. That's it. Visit our website www.strideagility.com for free content and video lectures.